Hi guys, and happy new year. I just wanted to make a little video on kind of like my New Year's resolutions for nursing and healthcare, and maybe some personal ones. I don't know. I'm just gonna see how this video goes. So it's a new year and everyone always makes New Year's resolutions, and there's, like this big spectrum of people, and there's the people that are like so gung-ho, like, I'm making this resolution, I'm gonna stick with it. There's people that are like, it doesn't really matter. And then there's people that are like, well, why do you have to have one day to make a resolution? Why can't you make resolutions all year long? And so I don't know where I'm on this scale. I think that if you want to make a resolution to make yourself better and make changes in your life, then go for it. And if you're the type of person that thinks that you can make resolutions all year long, then go for it. Change is good, change is positive. So I'm going to talk about kind of my goals for nursing and, maybe some personal goals. I don't know. Let's just get started. So as far as nursing, I feel like I've settled in. I've said this in other videos. I've settled into my job, and, I feel like I'm getting, I don't want to say comfortable because that's not a good nursing word. You don't want to get comfortable because that's when mistakes happen. But I'm getting more confident in my unit and how the flow of things go and how to talk with patients and what to do when situations arise, and I'm getting more familiar with like certain diagnoses and common protocols for things. And so this year I really want to continue to expand my knowledge on everything nursing. So if I don't know a medication, or if I don't know what a lab value means, or I'm not sure why it's high or low, I really want to look it up, ask the doctors, grow my knowledge, because that's what's going to help me be a more educated and better nurse. I also would like to, and this probably wouldn't happen more, it probably wouldn't happen at the beginning of the year, probably more towards the end of the year. I really want to start dipping my feet into maybe other units, so maybe floating to the ER or floating to ICU, and just kind of getting this well-rounded, education of nursing. And I really just, I don't like getting comfortable. I don't like getting used to routine. I like new things. I like change. I like learning new things. And so not right now, but maybe down the road in a few months, I would like to start looking into maybe floating to my ER, floating to the ICU. And I've already brought this up to my manager. Actually, she brought it up to me and said, I think you make a wonderful ICU nurse or ER nurse. So if you are considering wanting to cross-train, then please let me know. So that little wall, so to speak, has already been broken down, and we're all good there. I also am going to be taking a telemetry class starting in February until April. So you know what? Right now I should make a resolution to be doing some education on EKG strips and rhythms and what to do about them, because that's what I'm going to be learning about. So I'm very excited for this because a lot of my patients on med-surg are on tele, and I have to do tele assessments as far as, looking at the strips and figuring out what they are. But since I'm not technically tele qualified in a class, I have to ask someone else to do it, or call the tele person that watches the tele, or I'm excited for this class. I'm excited to learn more, and I guess overall you can kind of just tell my big resolution is just to become a better nurse. And I gave some specific ways that I want to do that. I guess at the end of the year I should do a video on maybe my progress in nursing and how I've accomplished these goals, because that would be a good idea. As far as my personal resolutions, I want to be just, healthier, happier, there's nothing really specific that I'm wanting to change about my life. I want to work at the relationships in my life. I want to keep going to the gym. I want to work on eating healthy and, things that I've already been doing. I'm going to continue those on into the new year. I don't really have any specific goals or resolutions for my personal life. But anyways, I hope you guys have a very healthy and happy new year. Comment below at least one of your New Year's resolutions. No matter how big, how small, how silly, you have to have at least one. Even if you're the type of person that doesn't like New Year's resolutions, give me just one. Just a little one. Alright, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.